What's going on, everybody? Good Sunday afternoon. Hope you're doing well. And we've got a little bit of Seahawks news today. So, a couple hours ago, Tre Brown made a couple of interesting tweets, and I want to talk about them a little bit. So, Tre Brown, little bit of a forgotten guy on this Seahawks defense right now by a lot of people, and I include myself when I talk about this new look Seahawks defense and helping some of our best players over the next few years. I talk about guys like Darrell Taylor, Jamal Adams, Jordan Brooks, but I haven't even talked about Tre Brown that much, and my only excuse for that would be I kind of forgot about him because he hasn't played that much for us yet. He had a pretty devastating injury midway through the season last year, and I don't know. He's definitely lower on the hierarchy for future Seahawks defensive studs than guys like Taylor, excuse me, Taylor, Adams, and Brooks. But I think that it should not be diminished or forgotten the fact that Tre Brown is also probably going to fit in very well with what the defense is going to be trying to do going forward. So, Tre Brown, according to his recent statements on Twitter, is going to be healthy for the first time in a long time this season. And he's not necessarily talking about the injury he had in the Cardinals game last year. He seems to be talking about something that's longer term than that. So let's take a look at these tweets earlier this morning. Crazy that I have never played healthy, and this will be the first time since freshman year or high school. So basically, what he's saying is that he has been dealing with some kind of injury, and it's implied to be some kind of knee injury, since he started playing at Oklahoma. Now, to refresh everybody's memory real quick here, Tre Brown's freshman year at Oklahoma was 2017. So what he's saying is that he hasn't really been healthy since 2016 playing high school football. And I mean, think about 2016. Think about all the stuff that was happening in 2016. That's a long time ago, and that's a long time to be playing football. And for the most part, playing football at a fairly high level. He did a lot of positive things at Oklahoma, and he had a short-lived but albeit very interesting rookie year for the Seahawks. And now he's saying, "Oh, I'm finally past whatever that injury was. Let's go." He went on to tweet a little later, "Knee been a problem for that long being, I guess, now 5 years, and now I'm free." And then a little later he said, "Ain't never seen a healthy me." And this is exciting because Tre Brown, to my eye, played fairly well last year. Limited time, limited snaps, but I was impressed with what I saw. He showed some good break on the ball. He made some plays on, I think he made a play on fourth down in the Packers game to force an incompletion that got us the ball back. And there was a clear improvement in the defense when he got out there versus when you had guys like Trey Flowers out there. And this was as a rookie. This was as a guy who missed time early in the season because of another injury that he sustained. And as a guy playing as a defensive back with very little pass rush, because we all know the pass rush last year was mostly very bad. So Tre Brown saying that, hey, ever since I've been a Sooner, I've been dealing with this knee issue. I've been playing through it for 5 years. Now, we still have to ask the question, is he going to be able to start day one with that massive injury he had last year? But by the time we get to opening day of the 2022 season, it'll be about 9.5 to 10 months since he sustained the injury. Jimmy Graham was able to come back from a similar injury in about that time window. So you got to give Tre Brown a pretty good chance. And if he truly was playing through some injuries, if he was truly playing through this stuff throughout his entire college career, and that was inhibiting his ability to play, then that's exciting because he played well. Like I said, clear upgrade over Trey Flowers the moment he touched the field. I remember the Pittsburgh game, he made some positive plays. I remember like I said, the Packers game, he made positive plays. And when you're talking about the future stars of this new hybrid 3-4 defense, you talk about Darrell Taylor for obvious reasons, Jamal Adams for obvious reasons, and I think Jordan Brooks will probably at least be good in it. He'll be fine. He won't lose anything, and he might gain a little something too. But Tre Brown should not be forgotten in that, because this is a guy who we spent a fourth-round pick on, and for a Pete Carroll coach team, that's actually a pretty valuable draft pick to use on a defensive back. If you think about some of the guys that have come through here, a lot of them that have gone on to play very well for us have been taken with even later picks than that. And beyond that, one thing about Tre Brown that's very appealing is his versatility. When he was drafted, one thing that was said about him was he can play man defense and he can play zone defense. So when you heard Clint Hurtt saying we're going to be a little less zony in 2022, I don't totally buy our ability to pull that off well, because we have corners like Sidney Jones who are mostly zone corners. But Tre Brown is a guy who can do both. And he showed last year he can play zone. But according to what he did in college, according to his general physical abilities, he can play man as well. So if you want to transition to a defense that maybe does both, Tre Brown needs to be a big part of that. And he's also a guy who has proven he can play on the outside or in the slot. He can be a outside corner or inside corner. He's got the speed to play inside. He doesn't really have the size that you would typically ascribe to an outside corner, but he can play bigger than he is, kind of like DJ Reed. So Tre Brown needs to be considered a significant part of what we're trying to do on defense. And I think that at the end of the day, when we get to this offseason, if we do lose DJ Reed, which I think at this point is a high possibility, because Carroll can say, I want to bring him back all he wants to, but the fact that he hasn't already been extended is going to make it somewhat hard to bring him back, because clearly he's going to test the market. Don't forget about Tre Brown, because honestly, Tre Brown probably has more, I would say he has more raw talent than DJ Reed. It's just a matter of unlocking it, and he's already shown positive signs there. So we're a little more than a week away from legal tampering, and then we're like 10 days away from free agency. And the fact that we haven't extended some of these guys like DJ Reed and even like Sidney Jones tells you that we're probably not going to get to keep all these guys. But the Tre Brown thing is significant, and it needs to weigh significantly on our minds as we go forward. And the fact that he's come out on Twitter and said, hey, I've had this knee injury my entire college career and my rookie year. Now that I've had this massive injury, I was able to get that knee injury taken care of in the process. That seems to be the implication here. That has to raise the ceiling on what Tre Brown might be able to do going forward. It might be a little bit of a process for him to work back from the injury he had last year, but once he works past that, this should be a guy who is a quality starter for us for a few years, along with guys like Taylor, Adams, and Brooks. All right, I'm going to be on Twitch shortly here, so come on over and watch. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play SMT5. Peace out, go Hawks. Let me know what you think.